this is next presentation, or you can say that impromptu lecturate cum presentation on the topic nuclear policy of India. So this is being presented by Namita Best, who is preparing for her AFSB. Namita, you can start, please.
Okay, good morning everyone. The topic of my presentation is nuclear policy of India. First of all, I'll start from the history of nuclear policy, or you can say the nuclear history. Basically, the energy which is released by nuclear fission and nuclear fusion is called nuclear energy or nuclear power. So there are two things: nuclear fusion, and the second one is nuclear fission. So first of all, I'll try to explain the basic difference between fusion and fission. If two elements, or you can say two atoms of any element will collapse to each other and made a next will collapse to each other and make a new element, it is calling nuclear fusion. While if I talk about nuclear fission, it created by the collapsing of two atoms. And if let's there is a two atoms and they are collapsing with each other, then they will scatter it into four parts, another four parts. That means they are splitting into more parts. That means this is called nuclear fission basically. So I want to add one more point here, that nuclear power or nuclear energy could be the prosperous future of India also. Okay, now I want to talk about the history of nuclear policies. Nuclear energy was initiated in the last 1950s. In the year of 1949, USA started its testing on first nuclear power, that was first lightning. And in the year of 1956, France tested its first nuclear power, that was Garbus Blue. And in the year of 1960, China first time tested its uranium 235. So all these things were somewhere creating a kind of security concern to India. So that's why India also started to think to develop nuclear policies or to create nuclear energy by India. But but in the year of 1960s, or in the year of is initiating 1970s, all the developing and developed nations are signing the deal, that was NPT, that was Nuclear Proliferation Treaty. So what was NPT basically? So all the nations were doing NPT. So NPT stated that any nation or any country will not test its nuclear energy on land, on air, or on water, but it can only test its nuclear power or nuclear energy underground. So, but there were two exceptions also there, that was Pakistan and Israel. These two nations refused to sign NPT. So somewhere it is also providing a kind of security concern to India. So India also refused to sign NPT, and India stated that if all the countries will be agree with NPT, then only we will sign NPT. Next, and simultaneously, India started its nuclear policies in India in the year of 1956. So right now I am talking about the nuclear era of India. Okay, India was entered in the nuclear era in the year of 1956 when it was tested its first nuclear reactor, that was Apsara. So basically, Apsara was the first nuclear reactor of India, and the basic phenomena of Apsara was to conduct sufficient uranium and thorium, as India has only 1 to 2% of uranium reservoirs and 25% of the thorium reservoirs of all over the world. So Apsara was basically made by India, and it was built and developed by India, but it was fueled by UK, and it was basically started under the training of Dr. Homi Jahangir Bhabha, which is also known as father of atomic science in India. If I talk about the other nuclear tests, in the year of 1900. In the year of 1974, India first time tested its second nuclear power reactor, that was Smiling Buddha, and in the year of 1999 or in the last of 1998, India started nuclear testing. It's in the Pokhran test. So there are some other things which is in which nuclear policy of India is running on. So basically these are three, nuclear policy of India is running on 3 stages, that is, the first one is PHWR, the second one is FBR, and the third one is AHWR. The first one is pressurized heavy water reactor, the second one is fast breeder reactor, and the third one is advanced heavy water reactor. Basically these two are developed the efficient thorium or uranium sufficiency by which we can consume in advanced heavy water reactor. And right now India having 22 nuclear reactors, but in the running condition there are only 7 nuclear reactors like Kakrapara, Narora, Kalpakkam, and Rajasthan nuclear reactor power sources. So at last I want to conclude my words by saying that nuclear power resources can be the best, or can be the very sufficient amount energy released by the nuclear policy of India, if we will use in the safe and secure manner. That's it all about today.
Fine. Anyone any doubts regarding this topic?
It's crystal clear. No.
Any doubt?
No.
You can ask. Any doubt?
No.
If you are having, like, make it AHWR.
Sorry, sir.
Fine. Any doubt, Harit?
No.
Sure?
Yes.
Fine. It was a great show, Namita. Take a seat.
Thank you, sir.
Keep working hard.